Every once in a while, you stumble across a painter whose style is so unique it practically jumps right through your screen and grabs you by the throat. Natalia Oracz is one of those painters.
This is a competition, right? This is not a kindergarten.
What is often most striking about our work is not the technical execution of the painting itself, although that is generally very impressive. It's more the ideas and artistic interpretation that she brings to the table. Like many painters, she favours high saturation, using bold and vibrant colours to bring her subjects to life. But what really sets her work apart is the use of interesting and unexpected motifs. Take this classic Lucas Pina bust as an example. Typically people paint her shawl as a piece of fabric, maybe adding some simple textile designs to give it character. Instead, Natalia has thrown convention to the wind and transformed it into a piece of turf, presumably taken from the old crone's favourite summer meadow, replete with small clumps of grass and tiny little flowers that have been carefully cut from bits of paper. It fits the character of the model perfectly, and it adds a compelling and unique storytelling element. Or how about this version of Pina's Wise Woman? Painted as if she's in some kind of psychedelic dream state. It's probably the most interesting and unique version of this classic bust. I think it speaks for itself. Perhaps my favourite is her take on Wazulka from Ignis Art. At first glance, the colours seem incredibly complex, but as you study it, you find it's actually been done with quite a limited palette. However, the colours have been expertly harmonised throughout the piece to give a very engaging result. The hair is particularly impressive. It would have been all too easy to make this approach appear messy, but she's cleverly balanced the different hues so that they work well together, creating an attractive and satisfying effect. When artists become known for a personal style, it's extremely rare to see them break away and try something completely different. There's a lot of risk involved when trying something new. There's also the worry that the new style will not be well received by your audience.
Cut!
Natalia is fairly unique in this regard, as every now and then she will break from type, as is the case with this historical piece for example. Occasionally she'll work on mini dioramas which don't really bear any of the classic elements that immediately identify her usual work. If I hadn't already seen this on our Instagram, I really wouldn't be able to tell you who created it. I think this shows a certain level of artistic bravery that you rarely come across. So when I saw that she had a piece for sale, I didn't waste any time in asking if it was still available.
One eternity later.
I've always wanted to start a small collection featuring work by other artists. I think it would be quite inspirational to have, but if I'm being honest, I'm also more than a bit curious to see how my own work compares. It's very difficult to get a true impression of what something looks like just from images or even video. To have something literally at your fingertips gives you a whole different experience. If you're wondering how much it cost, I won't disclose the exact amount, but it was somewhere in the ballpark of
$1 million.
When I finally got it out of the box, the balance of colour, lighting and tones on the skin were pretty much all how I thought they'd be. But one thing I wasn't expecting was just how intense some of the colours actually were. The images from Natalia's Instagram really don't give you an accurate portrayal of the overall impact it has. I can sit the bust on a shelf, go into a different room and still be struck by how much it stands out from like 20 feet away. It's quite easy to see why it won a gold medal at the recent World Model Expo competition. Honestly, it blew me away when I first saw it. About 6 years ago, I created a video on the concept of colour cohesion in which I discussed the importance of reusing paints throughout a figure to create a more harmonious and cohesive effect. After studying the bust for a while, I think it serves as a prime example for the principles that I was trying to put across. For example, the striking pink hair has been highlighted with the paints used for the skin, and it's also been shaded with the dark green tones from these leaves around the outside. On the skin, you can see that the pink from the hair has been added to create these peach-like tones, getting more obvious on top of the cheeks, around the eyes, and on the lips. Notice also that, just like the hair, the skin has been shaded with the green tones from the leaves. The leaves themselves have lightly been highlighted by the lighter tones from the skin. To further tie things together, Natalia has also taken those same colours and applied lots of little dots all over the piece. It's most obvious here on the lower part of the hair, where she's mostly used the colours from the skin, but also some of the pink as well. Notice the way she's changed the intensity between the dots to create some variation. On the leaves, you can see the same sort of idea with the use of pink and yellow dots made from the hair and skin tone. That same idea is then repeated on the skin, with dots used from the various colours just added here and there in order to give interest. To finish things off, she's actually added some small turquoise dots throughout the whole piece. Now, as this colour hasn't been used elsewhere, it's essentially working as a spot colour, but it also gives you a sense of something lingering outside of the scene. To me, it conjures up images of some kind of magical glade with like a bunch of fireflies dancing around her. I think it's a nice touch and it finishes the piece off really well. I hope you can see that by utilising a consistent colour palette and reusing your paints throughout the model gives the overall effect a much more cohesive and pleasing look. It effectively ties the various elements together and allows the colours to complement one another. That way they can work as a team instead of fighting for attention. When I decided to buy the bust, I wasn't quite sure what to expect, but I'm very glad I did. It's actually made me rethink some of the ways that I approach my own work, and I'm looking forward to picking up some more pieces from other artists in the future. If you're interested in learning more about Natalia's work, she has a Patreon where she uploads videos and PDF guides outlining her process. I'll leave a link to her various socials in the description below. Don't forget to like and share the video, hit the big red button to subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. 23 minutes, so it's going to be like about 8 minutes or something. 15 minutes, 10 minutes.